Okay, now we are on the air. We are live. We are ready to go. And no Dan. And I was gonna say that we were gonna make through this somehow, but I don't know if we are. We're gonna figure out something. We're gonna get through tonight. Dan Rosenberg is on assignment, unable to enjoy us. Enjoy us? I don't know. I have no idea where Dan is. We don't know, but we're gonna get by. It's gonna be okay. Normally, this is where I tell you to just join us at EriDanLive.com. Apparently, that's not working either. So you're going to have to check out the comment section tonight where I am posting a link if you want to join us tonight. So we're going old school. We're going back to the days of yore, where if you want to join us and be part of the movie talk tonight, you got to click the link in the description below and launch it in a new browser so that you can join us. So then close your Facebook feed or your YouTube feed so that you can join us. We're going very old school. And yeah, but we want you to join. And oh my goodness, speaking of joining, you did make it in.
Hello.
Live from Azkaban, it is Dan Rosenberg.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so late.
You didn't forward the links for people. You didn't show up on time.
What do you mean the link? The link is set up.
I don't know. People were saying they couldn't get in, so I've posted a link in the description for people to be able to join us.
I don't know why my sound's not working. Hold on a second.
I don't know. I hear you. We hear you. Kind of. Nope. Now we don't hear you.
You don't hear me at all?
Now, yes.
There we go.
There you go.
I apologize to everyone. I was traveling, and then I had a dinner that I thought was tomorrow.
Well, we're glad you're.
So I'm sitting in a hotel without a hat. There, I'll cut that off. And my battery also is about to die. So yeah. But the important thing is I watched the entire movie. Not only was it streaming on Peacock, it was also streaming on Alaska Airlines.
Which is the flight you were on, I'm assuming?
It was. I was able to watch it on the plane. It was fantastic. Nice.
So it's a slightly bigger screen than you're used to.
Yeah. Well, no, I watched it on my phone. Because Alaska, you just use their app.
So okay. So you saw it normal size for you.
Yes, and again, I apologize. I was very busy.
That's it.
I did set the link up. I don't know why, because I set the show up at the same time.
Doesn't seem to work. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I apologize to everyone. So you can't go to EriDan Live. Go to StreamYard.com/KNB5IQQ7WU. So easy to remember.
Easy.
Yes.
Pretty points on that. Dan on assignment means a fancy dinner. That's exactly what on assignment means. Who do you think gives Dan's these assignments?
Yes, I'm actually sitting at the restaurant in Seattle, and Harper, our good friend Harper, they used to be on the show all the time. She is the pastry chef here, and she just came out to our table and said hello.
Really?
And we're getting a bunch of free stuff because we know Harper.
Well, there, you get a score from Harper while you're at it.
I'll ask if she's seen this movie.
No,
I'm sure she has. But my battery, literally, I'm in single digits, so hopefully I don't die too quickly.
So you're gonna text the score just in case, right? Just in case.
I will make sure. Yes.
All right, cool. All right, let's bring some people in quickly. We'll do this quickly.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Look, Dave is here.
I'm on assignment.
Hi, Dave.
Who gave you that assignment?
Life.
That's what I figured. I see how that works. All right. Speaking of, I've got no brain. Speaking of the world. Going by just Ryder tonight. I like that.
Ryder in the storm.
That's us.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, I didn't click a link. I just typed in EriDan.xyz and it didn't work. So it was weird.
No, Dan.
Yep, EriDan. They all redirect to EriDan Live and it doesn't work.
I pasted it. I was at the airport. I was on GoDaddy.
It goes to a parking page.
Yeah.
Oh.
It says EriDan Live is for sale.
But you're here now.
Yes.
You are here now. And people can join. Click on the link if you want to join.
StreamYard.com/KNB5IQQ7WU.
I mean, really, a baby could do.
One ring to rule the moon. One ring to fight.
It's Brittany.
Oh wait, geez, I forgot. I'm so used. I messed up the
I
whole
know.
bit. There's the baby.
I was waiting. I was like, "Where's the
I'm
baby?"
so used. Dan usually brings people in. I play the intros. Dan brings.
Yeah, I
Has
hit
the
the
baby
button.
been here 5 times by now?
the baby.
Oh yeah, I
We're
think
getting
Mina
close.
gets her own.
No, she hasn't shared a score yet.
Oh,
I will share all of her scores from now
If
on.
she throws up, it's an Adam score.
And,
She's
one
left
of the intros.
plenty of number 2s, but we're not going to give it away. Hey, look! I even
Hey,
it's got the robes on and everything.
of course. And I brought Lego reference.
I meant to go raid my kids' bedrooms because they have stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll disappear here at some point. I'll wait till Brian starts talking and then I'll go. All right, there's Brian.
Hey,
Nice shirt.
Finished.
thank
finished.
you.
All right. Well, we're glad you could be. Oh, you got your Hogwarts shirt on.
I do.
I came so close. I knew what I wanted to grab out of my kids' rooms, and then I took a nap instead. So here I am. And here we all are. And as we'll start off this conversation with Adam. Adam's in the comments saying that he's all pottered out.
Oh, is that a thing? Can you be?
We're not even halfway yet,
No, we're
Adam.
not even halfway. I know.
Oh, my God.
Already so early. But that's all right. We have a forced break coming up unless somebody decides to choose another Harry Potter movie for next week, which I guess is a possibility still. But tonight we will discuss the third Harry Potter movie as we dive into The Prisoner of Azkaban from 2004. Something Wicked This Way Comes. As I pointed out on Facebook earlier today, this is our fourth Daniel Radcliffe movie within the past 7 weeks. Yes, change of director from the first two movies. And they did okay with this movie. $130 million budget, but a $790 million gross.
that's a good ROI. I believe that's.
So
what
they
call
did
that.
okay. Yeah.
It was worth the investment, I think, for the most part.
They may have made a sequel after this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably worth it. And the critics coming in 90%, the audience at 86%. I'd ask Brittany why we chose this, but I think we
I hate to
It
cut
was
off.
just it was the next one.
was the
It's
next
the next one. And honestly, my battery's dying. I think I like this one so far of the three. I like this one the best.
Well, do you want to give a quick story to him before you die?
Yeah, I'm giving this a 90.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, time travel, a little time
Yeah.
travel. I like
Yeah,
that.
kind of ish.
Eric kept saying, "Wait till the third act. Wait till the third act."
I thought the third act was where it would really click with Dan and really well done time travel.
Yeah, very well done.
The time travel was really well handled. And now here's a question, because we're discussing this element already, since I know it's towards the end, but before we lose Dan in a time travel discussion, is this your favorite type of time travel, which is a loop where things that happened were because the people had
Right.
already time traveled and come back?
Yes,
Is that not your favorite type of
it
time?
is. It is the somewhere in time rules that he already had gone back, therefore he knew he was going to go back. So yeah,
Yeah, it is.
it already happened.
It's really nicely handled. My son
Yes.
has a time turner.
I do as well, yes.
Yeah, you gotta have a time turner, right?
All right.
Fantastic.
I hate to do this. I'm at 2%. I need a little bit of battery left in my phone.
Yeah,
I don't have my charger.
So,
But thank you all. I have exciting things to tell you next week. I promise.
all right.
All right.
Look forward to that.
All right. I have to make sure I don't hit end and end the show. I
Yeah,
did that
don't
one
end the
time before.
broadcast. That would be really
How do I just get out? I guess I just close this. All right.
Just hang
Yeah.
up your phone. Just hang up your phone. There you go. All right. So
If only Apple had a universal charger like everybody else.
yeah, he's stuck in the 80s. So Adam feels this is the start of the better-ish Potter movies, and this definitely this definitely gets away from some of the Home Alone feel.
Yeah, this didn't feel as much like a kids movie.
Right.
No.
I think it helped that the actors were definitely getting older. Like
Yeah.
there's a noticeable difference. And I think too, it really helped this director, like a lot more of the scenes of this took place outside of classrooms.
Yeah.
So the kids weren't in their robes as often. So they had a lot more personality come through in like wardrobe choice and stuff than just constantly being in the robes.
Yeah, I mean, in the earlier movies, they were in their robes, like even when they weren't in classes. It was just like that was what wizards wore. While he wanted to kind of make it seem more like kids these days, like make them seem more like teenagers.
Definitely worked that. Harry definitely has sort of that teenage angst going on. Willing to stick up for himself a little bit more.
I also think it helps getting Gary Oldman and Emma Thompson in, who are two excellent actors.
Gary Oldman is Sirius Black, my favorite, like one of my favorites.
He's one of my favorite actors. Period.
I love Emma Thompson. I always have.
Yeah.
I think she's
wonderful. Yeah,
hilarious.
Not the greatest role for her, really, but I just still love seeing her on screen.
It was a nice cameo, I thought, and then she shows up later too, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah. This also brings up a lot of there's a lot of the big Harry Potter stuff that you do see when you go to conventions, the Time Turner, the Marauders map, right? You get a lot of, big, like you get a lot from this movie. There's a lot of like, oh, that's when this comes into play. That's, there's a lot of that in this movie.
And yet I found it's weird because I remembered really liking this movie. And I did really like it, but I didn't like it as much as I thought. And it took me a while to realize why. And it's how much of the book they left out.
Yeah.
It really is a movie, I think, that suffers for not having some of the plot lines in the book in the movie.
To me, there's really only one plot line that I miss, which is the actual discussion more about the origin of the Marauders map.
Exactly.
The fact that
That's
they
one
never
of them.
really actually address who Mooney, Padfoot, Prongs, and
Right.
That was one of them. They never addressed what was the motivation behind the three of them wanting to become Animagi. That was just sort of glossed over. The Shrieking Shack was mentioned multiple times, but why it was what it was never discussed.
Right.
Right. But as somebody who never read the books, didn't bother me.
That's what I was going to say. Of all of the, so I read the first two books when I was in like fourth grade or something. And then I didn't read any more.
You haven't read since fourth grade? No, I'm sorry.
I didn't read any more Harry Potter books for various reasons. And then I started watching the movies. And so this was the first movie that I had seen before I read the book. And I loved the movie. And then when I read the book, I was like, there's so much more that they left out that was still so good.
Yeah, and I also agree with Adam's latest comment.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
I do agree with that. There's definitely,
And I was thinking of why, besides the fact that Richard Harris is a great actor, it's also because Richard Harris was so old and frail in the first two movies that you really get the impression of someone who'd lived beyond their time. And his body was unimportant. He was just there because it needed to be. But he was so much more imposing magically for that reason, because he was so frail. This guy just seemed, this guy looked like he could have gone out and run laps around the castle.
Right.
And it just felt a little bit weird that he was so much more fit and felt so much stronger than Richard Harris had. In the
that
first
contrast, I mostly remember being really strong in the fourth movie. Not to spoil that, but there's a scene in the fourth movie where he like runs up to Harris, like, "Did you put your name in the goblet?" Like very aggressively. It's just such a strange mismatch.
He's a fine actor. He's a fine actor. It's just following Richard Harris is tough.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that too, like I definitely agree, like what you said, like he was so frail. He was that, grandpa that you would just go like, you know, sit next to and hang out with, and I would feel comfortable going to his office and talking about, you know, Death Eaters and Dementors and all that stuff with him. Like he was so like white. Everything was white, and then now you have this Dumbledore who's very gray, and all of a sudden looks way younger.
And the colorful robes he was wearing, who were very different style in this movie too.
Yeah.
He also played it way differently.
Yes.
Right. Like he definitely played the part not as warm, not as caring. Right. He played it a lot more like I'm mysterious.
That's the thing too. In the books, Dumbledore is clearly, he is arguably the most powerful wizard of his age, but he was past his prime. I mean, he made mistakes in the books. He misjudged things. Some of the problems that occurred were his fault because he was not completely as with it as he had once been, and Harris gave that impression too. If he was still hanging on, he was still incredibly strong, but he was sort of barely hanging on to some degree. And this guy's just like, I can do anything. I'm Dumbledore, you know.
Right. Yes, but I'm going to do a cheap magic trick and just turn off a candle. Turn it back on. Like what? What? Come on.
This is a movie to me that begs for an extended version with about half an hour more of material.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It did end very quickly.
It definitely did way too quick. There was a lot of stuff at the end that felt very unfinished. But once you read the book, that it's all tied up, like loose ends are tied up, so it makes sense. But
right.
And one thing, the only thing that really bothers me about this entire movie is the freeze frame. The freeze frame of Harry Potter at the end is very like 80s, comedy special. Like,
But I did love the credits.
After school,
I did love the credits with the, I saw this, Lumos, I saw swear him up to no good, and then the ending of it was just really cute. It was really clever.
Yeah.
There are so many, like if you actually watch like the little feet, like there's so many fun things that you can see in those credits.
Yeah.
That are super goofy. I liked Hermione's, hook to Malfoy's face. That was
all three of the main leads grew in this movie, but she grew the most. I mean, she was still, even in the second movie, sort of this annoying know-it-all. Who, clearly she was a good friend and loyal and all the lovely characteristics she has, but the sort of annoying aspects were sort of the predominant character thing you would see about her. In this movie, she actually had some gravitas to her.
Yeah. No, in the second movie, they wrote her out of half of the second movie.
Right. But no, she was just a cat. That's all. She was a cat.
That's right. Exactly. She was frozen.
That was so weird.
She was going to be with James Corden, and cats. It was fun.
There you go. Yeah. Well, no, that's the first movie, isn't it? No, that's the second movie.
That's the second movie.
The second movie.
But it is also interesting.
Frozen.
I sometimes wonder how much Rowling. I mean, clearly, I know she had the ending in mind when she started, or at least very, very early. How the whole thing was going to play out at the end. But some of the things that were introduced, you wonder how much she knew. Was the Marauders map something she knew from the beginning, or something she introduced in this book?
Right.
Was the Room of Requirements something that she introduced, in a later book, or was that something she knew from the beginning? I'm always kind of curious as to how much of the rules she knew ahead of time.
I would think you'd have to come up with most of that if you were going, and you needed more magic. It's the problem that Star Wars keeps running into, where they're like, they're prequels, but we're gonna change some things up that you've never heard of before.
But she at least knew. I mean, she knew up front there were going to be 7 books.
Yes.
Yeah.
And each one was going to be in a next year in the school, so they were going to be aging at that pace. And so she sort of had a fair amount pre-planned, pre-outlined at least.
Well, and she told Alan Rickman the ending. Like that was why he agreed to stay on as Snape, was because she told him what I won't say here, because some people haven't seen all 7 of them. So he knew that, and that's why he stayed on.
Well, and a lot of that motivation, Snape had a really small role in this movie. He really was a pretty minor character. And that so much of what goes into his motivation actually has a genesis in this movie. There's so much between the friends and Snape and James and Lily and Sirius and all of that dynamic that we don't find out about till later. But it really, those character interactions that form the core of all this really start to really play out in this movie.
I mean, I do enjoy that reveal when they're in the Shrieking Shack, and the reveal that, because you're expecting, oh, Sirius Black is evil, and then you're like, oh my gosh, they're in on it together, right? And then it's like, oh,
Well, especially like if you haven't read, like I really liked Lupin. So then to not know what was going to happen and to like Lupin and to see Lupin taking his side, you're like, no,
right? And you're like, oh no, it's the double. And it's like,
And I thought the actor playing Lupin was excellent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
and I think the effects for the most part still hold up.
The effects were better than the first two movies.
18 years or so. It's not.
The hippogriff
few spots.
is a little bit rough though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I love the way they handled the Whomping Willow in this too. That was cute.
Oh yeah.
I love that scene where just all the leaves just fall off and it shakes. I love that. I was
When it shakes off the snow.
Yeah.
The opening with it's not his aunt, is it his, or I don't know, she yes.
Oh, his
Like,
uncle.
I admit, the
It looks
effects
like
on
it's all
that are not
practical
great.
effects.
And the problem is with that too, that was a little hold on to sort of the cheesy corniness of the first two movies.
It was.
Right? A little of
I
that
love it.
cutesy Home Alone kind of, and so for me, this movie doesn't really get started until after he gets out of
They
it.
also another thing they don't really explain, because it's really, by this point in the books you understand it a little better, is why does he stay with the Dursleys every summer?
Yeah,
They touch on it, but they don't really discuss it in detail the way they do in the books.
Right.
Well, they don't tell you until like the very last book why.
They give you some information about it.
Well, a thought that I had too, and this isn't going to make sense for people who haven't seen it all, but I read it all, but I ran it by Richard, and I was like, to me, what doesn't make sense is why they don't constantly just like obliviate the Dursleys. Like, you know, like just every year, like why don't, like, because they have to do that with what's her face when they deflate her,
ants,
right?
yeah.
They have to obliviate her after they deflate her. So why don't they just do that with his family the whole time? Like, that would solve so many relational issues in his life if they would just do that.
I don't know.
Yeah. You'd have to.
Is there anyone here that's only seen the movies and hasn't read the books?
Reagan.
Because I would be curious to see what the reaction is for the people coming from the two different sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never read the books.
I have not read all of the books. I will admit that. I have them. I have Brian's copies of them.
You do have my copies of them. That's true.
I only have some of them because I gave you the ones I was finished with before you moved back. But
This is why Brian came to visit you, and he was getting his book back.
and then he left.
I actually got something from their house that this. I took it home with me. I was like, that is mine.
Nice.
You're never in the
Nice.
story too.
Yeah, but that's not right there. That's right there.
That would require him to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can't expect him to get up.
I think one of the other complaints about not necessarily the movie, but the story that really irked me with this particular book, movie, whatever, was the scene with Buckbeak. Like, Draco was so ridiculously overdramatic, and anybody and their brother could have seen it. Like, it wasn't even like it could be misrepresented. There was absolutely no way that was going to happen. Like, I didn't like that. I was like,
I think the point was that he just ran and cried to his dad, who has a lot of powers.
The point
I get
is,
it, but like
it's corrupt and stuff.
Yeah,
it's really to highlight the corruption, I guess. But
Yeah.
it was really over the top. Like
it was so.
barely
But he didn't even try. He didn't even try to listen. There was no attempt at
but it
following
isn't-
the directions. Like, I can do what I want.
It isn't
already
obvious at this
displayed,
point
like,
how
months
corrupt the
later.
ministry is.
Yeah.
'Cause the
Like
ministry
any of the
is
students
corrupt,
could have.
and we don't really know it yet.
Yeah. But like any of all of the students, except maybe Slytherin, could have absolutely vouched for Hagrid and for Buckbeak and been like, no. He was
But
told
they would have
not
had to stand up to Malfoy.
Yeah.
Right, but if all of them did,
They're students, and these are the professors.
yeah, I know.
And he's a student with a very powerful father.
I know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Teenagers. Well, shall
And
we?
I also
move?
think some of the students weren't scared of Buckbeak, even though Malfoy was clearly wrong. Not everybody was as happy as Hermione and Harry to be with Buckbeak. A lot of them were scared to death of the thing.
Yeah.
True.
It is true. This could be, yeah. Let me see where we're at. Let me see. Adam says the third act was the best act. The first two acts were so-so. I think it does. Obviously, I can get behind that. I like the.
I think it gets better once Sirius Black shows up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, let's do the rating thing. Alrighty, here we go. Let's find out what people thought. 0 to 100.
This is my favorite of all the movies. I love it. I don't know if maybe it's just because it's the first one that they just are. I don't know. Like you see, like I said, you see that personality come out in them. I don't know. I don't know why I like this one. I don't know if it's just like a nostalgia thing from the first time I ever saw it. But this is my favorite one. I'm going to give it a 97.
Wow, nice. There you go. All right. Well, perfect. All right. Hold on. I got too many things to do. Then we're going to do Amanda.
Okay, so this was my favorite story of all of the books. This was the book that I would definitely was the most invested in. I was really into Sirius Black and Lupin in like high school when I was reading these books. Like this was definitely my favorite of the stories. I think the movie generally did a pretty good job portraying it. I really liked the time travel. I thought that was done well. I think they kind of weaved the Sirius Black Marauders mystery throughout the book, though I do wish they had, like, it wouldn't have taken that long to have a scene when he's talking with Lupin at the end to have him reveal, like, by the way, we made the Marauders map. Like, there would have been, like, you could have fit that in a way, and I kind of feel like it's missing something not having that. I don't remember what I rated Sorcerer's Stone, because I do think I like this.
I can tell you if you want to know. Sorcerer's Stone, you gave a 95.
Oh, boy. Bold of me. Okay.
And then you gave. Did you do?
I didn't do Chamber of Secrets. I was busy that day.
So there you go. Yeah. So just yes, you apparently at the moment.
I went a little hard.
Very excited about.
Yeah, I guess okay. Because like for the books, I would rate Prisoner of Azkaban higher. I do think the first movie, I suppose is better. So I'll give this one a 94.
All right, there we go. Perfect. Awesome. All right, let's go and find out what Padfoot thinks.
It's definitely to me a better made movie than the first two. I like I guess that's really a comment not so much on better made. I like the directorial style better. I do think it is a more successful movie than the first two on its own, at least as a non-kids movie. I am trying to rating it is hard for me because, like I said, I was frustrated by several things that were missing from the book. I think it could have been a truly great movie. And another thing that was missing was the relationship between Remus and Snape, and why Snape was even involved. Snape was the one making the potion that was enabling Lupin to be a professor because it was enabling him to keep his lycanthropy in check. And they never really addressed that in the movie, which I was sort of frustrated by, unless I missed it.
It was
in the movie. Yeah.
They mentioned the potion, but they don't give it.
They mentioned it, but Snape was because apparently, if I'm remembering, it was an incredibly difficult potion to make, and which is why Snape was making it because Remus couldn't. And Snape, even though he was not in favor of Remus being there, was being helpful, which is not something you usually saw from Snape in the first several books. So I sort of felt that was a little missing. The whole fact that the Shrieking Shack was considered haunted was because that was where Lupin would go to scream and howl and be locked away when he was a werewolf. And so Dumbledore actively encouraged the impression that it was a haunted place to keep people away from it. They just sort of, which isn't huge to the plot, but I thought it would have added a lot to the character. And it just, those things that were missing bothered me. So I wanted to rate it higher than I'm going to because I really like what's there. I just lament what's missing. So it is a little better than the first two, though. So it's a 90 for me.
There you go. Nice. All right, and let's go and find out what the writer thinks. Which writer will we hear from first?
Guess me. Yeah, this is where I think it started picking up some speed, and with the books, I mean, the books were getting more interesting also about this point. So I'm going to give it a 92.
92, nice.
Yeah, it just was not. I can't say it wasn't my favorite because they're all good. I can't decide that, but there are things about it I don't like. But I didn't realize how much of the book was missing until you guys brought it up, and I started remembering. Oh yeah, there was a lot of stuff because Hermione was coming and going, and people were noticing that she was oddly out of place or whatever. And I remember.
I think I remember her being really tired too, like she was stretching herself way too thin.
Yeah, they had her appearing in classes a few times in the movie, but that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, when did you get here?
I've been here the whole time, and it was not as intense as it was in the book that way. So, so I think basing it on that it just wasn't as good. I mean, it told the story that they needed to tell to keep the whole thing going, but I think it could have been done much better. So I'm going to give it a 90.
90. Pretty good. Not bad. All right. Speaking of 90, I have no idea what that means. Go ahead, Brian.
I don't either. I'm not 90, that's for sure.
Were you born in the 90s?
I was not. So, anyway,
over 90. It's all good.
I really love this movie. It's I think it's my second favorite. So I'm gonna rate it high. I'm gonna go with like a 96.
Nice. Yeah. Wow, that is. Yeah. Hold on, I gotta get this in. There we go. All right, you are put in. I think that's everybody except for me, and of course we'll wait and see if we hear from Adam. Richard,
Adam has a question for you.
What?
In the comments, he wants to know what he rated the last movie.
Oh, the last Potter movie. Okay, Adam, the last Harry Potter movie. You gave a 41. The first one you gave a 40. First one you gave a 40. The second one you gave a 41. So 42. I don't know. I agree with what everybody says. This is my favorite, I think, of all the movies for sure. There are definitely some moments in each one of the movies that are ahead of this movie that bother me enough that I don't think that this one I just walk away with that was just awesome. It just it leaves you with a great happy ending. It doesn't feel like something's coming next, even though something is. It just feels very complete and awesome by itself. I love this movie. So I ended up at a 95 for me in this movie. So Richard gave it an 82. Dan gave it a 90, as you all heard.
I was thinking there were a couple other things I really liked while we're waiting for Adam's score.
Yeah.
It was a really tiny moment, but I really just loved the way they presented it. Was when the Bogart turns briefly into the full moon before.
Oh, and that's sweet.
Really just nicely, just it came and it went. It's a little foreshadowing without being over the head with it. It was really nicely done.
Yeah.
To know that was his fear, right?
Yeah. I remember in the book that that came across pretty clear in the book.
Yeah. And then 65, and then
from Adam.
It's also interesting because this is the first movie that Voldemort appears in no way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, he's only really even discussed once.
Yeah.
And then Harry's told off when he says it.
Yeah. Well, he's also mentioned in passing because the whole Peter betraying the Potters to Voldemort came up. So he's mentioned in sort of third person that way. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm checking my math. Sure, I got this right.
The one thing that is like a silly, I guess, fan, not theory, but big plot hole that always makes me giggle anytime I watch this one is that Fred and George had the map for forever, and how Peter Pettigrew's been in their family for 12 years, right? And how did they never notice? This who's Peter Pettigrew in your, in the room? I don't know who.
Well, maybe they never knew who that was.
That's a good one.
They
never asked. They never were like, "Hey, Ron, who's Peter Pettigrew?" And I'm sure they knew because of who their family was. I'm sure there was talk of, of their parents' friends.
I don't know. I also get the feeling that whole phase, the war with Voldemort isn't discussed a lot. I mean, they won't even mention the guy's name. So I have the feeling they may not know as much of the history as you might think they would.
The kids.
Yeah.
Maybe not until Order of the Phoenix, which is a couple away.
Yeah.
That's true.
The thing I thought was sort of not really a plot hole, but weird when Scabbers turns into Peter Pettigrew, he's fully clothed. Then when he turns back into Scabbers, he leaves his clothes behind.
Right. And when
Yeah.
And then when Lupin transforms, his clothes fall off. And I'm like, come on now.
No. Gotta keep it PG. It was PG.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, here we go. Look at that.
Oof.
There it is up there. 89.10. Obviously beating out that thing you do. I'm not obviously beating out Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is at the bottom of that column. So
where's Chamber of Secrets?
Wow, it's not even on this page. Yeah.
And then you have to go all the way.
Oh, just barely. It actually just knocked it off the first page.
Yep. Chamber of Secrets got bumped to the second page.
Okay.
So not bad. Not bad at all.
I have a brief, relevant Lego show to tell. These are the two different variants of the hippogriff that they've come out with. This one being the first one, and then they came out with the fancier hippogriff.
The fancier one, yeah.
The fancy one is awesome.
Yep.
I mean,
then I have the executioner with his nice.
You have a pumpkin for him to slice?
And then I have the escape scene where you have Sirius Black in his cell with the Dementor looming over him. And I do like the.
Oh my gosh.
They also don't explain that very well. I don't get all of it. How he got out of Azkaban and why that's such a that's a huge plot thing that they left out, and it's really neat. But you're that first generation hippogriff. I'm on my phone, so you're really, really tiny. It looked like a thestral, like a gray thestral. That's all I can see, unless I put my.
No, that's fair. Yeah, the thestrals are all black. I have Lego thestrals.
Oh yeah, they definitely have color.
Eric's gonna make her full screen here.
There we go. There it is.
First generation.
All right, yeah, it's less of a thestral now.
And then the second generation, like
much more detailed.
Very,
Complete with the chain hanging from his neck.
Oh yeah, this one is part of a set that comes with Hagrid's hut and the pumpkin patch and the executioner and the Minister of Magic. Like it's a full set of that whole scene. Yeah.
I was gonna say with the pumpkin patch, that would make an excellent Halloween decoration. You could just put that out with the executioner chopping pumpkins. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the executioner chopping the pumpkin was the cute touch for the time.
I do hope Sirius goes to a good wizard dentist though to get his teeth cleaned up because
yes. That grossed me out.
After 12 years in Azkaban, his teeth looked awful.
The dental plan in Azkaban was just not up to par.
Nope.
All right.
And I like the guy who plays the Minister of Magic. I love him. He was in the original. Well, yeah, the original All Creatures Great and Small. He was Siegfried, and I love him. He
just comes across as the epitome of a bureaucrat. He really is.
Yes.
Crazy. Well, that's pretty good. I say so. Well, let's find out if somebody's going to force Adam to watch a Harry Potter movie. Or maybe Adam will get to choose.
Adam has a chance.
Who knows?
Adam has a lot of entries on the wheels.
He does have a lot. Let's find out what happens. Oh my goodness! Here we are back again to the Wheel of Adams. No, there's a lot of Adams on here, but there's a lot of others. There's a lot of others who I know are not here, though.
That's right. No Dan.
No Dan. Dan's got a lot of spots too.
No, because Dan got his just a couple weeks ago.
He doesn't have a lot of spots. I think Dan has like 2, maybe 3. So yeah, let's give it a
Dave, Adam, Susan, Dave, Susan, Dave, Reagan, Dave, Dan.
There's a lot. You know, yeah, we can look through. There's a lot of people here who aren't here. I don't know. Who gets to control our fate for next week's movie? Oh my goodness. Here it goes. And it's going to Rebecca. I don't think Rebecca's here. We have not heard from Rebecca all night.
Okay.
Rebecca, if you're here, you need to yell now. I don't think Rebecca's here. We'll give her a second.
So let's see. So then this is for Thanksgiving weekend, the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. And then the next one.
And then after that, we're into the holiday.
Are we doing a double feature for the first holiday one?
Double feature. So if you get chosen, you get to pick 2 holiday movies. for the first kickoff of the month. And I
should-
will bring up next week. I'll bring up the list of
Thank you.
Rebecca is here.
Yes.
What? Oh my goodness, she is. She's here. She heard her name. That's awesome. Well, Rebecca, do you have a movie for us for next week?
No, she didn't say I'm here. It says I *am here.
Well, I am here. Well, let's see. We'll see if Rebecca has a movie for us.
Yeah, if you can send out the list of holiday movies we watched last year, that would be great.
Yes, I will. I will post that online as well as share it here. Adam gives up apparently. I'm gonna check the archives here to see.
Adam can't be too upset. He would have said he was going to choose Weird if Dan hadn't.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Last movie Rebecca gave us was Last of the Mohicans. Just to if you're keeping track at home, that was back in June.
Oh my goodness!
I know, right?
Now we're going to watch the sequel.
There's a sequel?
There's No More Mohicans, it's called.
You know,
Oh.
Adam did get to choose a movie back in July, so actually it's been longer for Rebecca than it's been for Adam. When Adam brought us Edward Scissorhands. So, here we go. Wow, here's another movie I haven't seen before. It's Rushmore.
Our first Wes Anderson movie. Cool.
Wow, I don't.
Rushmore.
I'm not even sure I know what we're talking about here.
I don't.
Not a clue.
Let's find out.
It's Wes Anderson who did,
Rushmore. Hold on.
Island Dogs and
Hold
Grand
on.
Budapest
I gotta do a bunch
Hotel.
of things. I got to do that thing and the other
Moonrise
thing. There we go,
Kingdom.
Rushmore.
Hmm.
Let's see who is appearing in Rushmore.
Well, Bill Murray's in almost all of his movies.
Jason Schwartzman, Bill
Yep.
Murray,
His
Olivia
usual
Williams,
cast.
Brian Cox, Seymour Castle.
Never heard of that one.
Haven't seen it in quite a while.
Has anybody seen this movie? Out of curiosity, just out of fun. Dave
Dave.
has. Well, there we go. We all get to experience something new together. That'll
He
be
did The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. He's done. Anderson's movies have a very unique feel to them.
He did
He's
the
sort of
one
like-
about the Grand Hotel, right? Am I
He's
right?
sort of like Quentin Tarantino in that you can see, you watch 2 minutes of one of his movies and you go, oh, Tarantino directed this. You feel the same way with the Wes Anderson movie. You know right away whose movie it is.
I see. Adam says it's a very specific kind of comedy. It
is a very, he has a very odd sense of humor.
Very high ratings over at Rotten Tomatoes, though. If if you care what the critics or the audience thinks, I mean, apparently pretty popular over there. So there we go. Thank you.
I don't like all of his movies equally well, but I've never seen one of his movies I didn't like.
So it's not a lot. It's one of those ones you watch and you go, "That's funny."
Oh, I get what you did there.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm laughing inside where it counts.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I like that. Well, that's awesome. I'm excited. That's awesome. So there we go. We most of us get a brand new experience together. That'll be exciting. So over Thanksgiving,
we have now watched 8 episodes of Schitt's Creek.
Wow, I have still not watched any, but we will be talking about this next week. Work's been a little crazy, and I just don't know.
Hey, you're here. Don't apologize. You're here.
I'm here. That's true. That's true. Well, kind of.
I watched a little bit of Schitt's Creek yesterday, and I don't know if I'll be returning.
Now, is this a new cat?
Yeah, this is Emma's cat.
Wow.
This is Rigby.
Emma Watson? Emma Thompson?
It's Emma Thompson's cat.
She's named after Emma Thompson, so
what?
Sorta. Yeah. This is Rigby.
Rigby looks very at home.
Yeah. Yeah, she
very affectionate cat.
We told her no, but she wasn't living at home. And then one of her friends stopped by the house with her one day and said something to Reagan about Emma's cat. And she thought he was talking about our cat here. And he goes, no. And then they went, oh. And then her roommate was in a wedding with Reagan for Reagan's best friend. And she showed the bride a picture. and or something like that. And she said, "Hey, there's something about Emma's cat," and she's like, "Yeah, we're not supposed to know." So
Really
we
funny.
know.
And now you know, apparently.
Yeah.
The cat is out of the bag.
Well, she had to bring him home for Thanksgiving and a week early. Because school said get out a week early. So
clearly she's traumatized.
Yeah. Basically. I thought she was going to die the other day because Henry attacked. Well, it's a boy, actually. Henry attacked him the other day pretty bad. But now they're just cautious around each other.
Yeah, now they're just it's mutual. It's détente, basically, right? It's
Yeah.
Well, let's find out what other people, including their pets, have been watching. All right. So obviously, besides watching our children and watching our pets, we'll probably watch some other TV or movies.
Adam, I see Adam has a Schitt's Creek comment.
Oh boy. Okay, let's see. I got to get back to the comments. I'm all here we go. Here we go. The series as a whole is a great start. A little there you go. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. I'm gonna watch at least an episode before next Monday. That's all I'm promising.
They're only half-hour episodes. We're not asking.
I've seen pieces before out of order. It wasn't my bag. But I'm gonna try. I'm certainly gonna try. And Brittany brought up the one thing I was gonna bring up, which is Disenchanted.
We haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Also, haven't watched Spirited yet. Although we're probably going to watch it over Thanksgiving weekend.
So actually, those are the two things I was going to talk about, which is Disenchanted, it's a little rough, and Spirited, which is not a good movie, but is a great time. Right?
That's sort of what it looked like.
Yes. Yeah. That honestly, like, no, this makes nuts look like Last of the Mohicans. No, it's not. But it's not. But it is so much fun.
As soon as you hear, okay, Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds Christmas musical.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't like Will Ferrell, this is not going to be the movie that makes you a Will Ferrell. I'm just saying.
No, that movie might be Stranger Than Fiction, but last I checked, it wasn't streaming anywhere.
No, wait, which one?
I was going to do Stranger Than Fiction sometime when my name came up, but it's not streaming anywhere.
I like that one. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not streaming anywhere. So I'm going to have to put that one off till some service picks it up.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, look at that. Not even for sale.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yep. I don't know who owns the rights to it.
But yeah. No, it's, as I said, it's such a good time. Disenchanted for me was not a good time. And I really liked Enchanted. I will stand by Enchanted any day as a fun movie. But nah.
Hey, but it was it's streaming on Disney Plus. It's basically free for you.
It's not. I watched the whole thing, right? It wasn't like, oh, I'm turning this off. I can't stand this, you know. So it wasn't Super Troopers 2.
Or Take the Money and Run.
Or Take the Money and Run. Yeah. Hey, I didn't turn that one off. Mean Girls 2, I turned off. No, I can't. There's no way.
Reagan said she was in quarantine and with nothing to do and turned that one off too, Eric.
Yeah, it would honestly. That's like, I think I'll just stare at the ceiling fan for the next 2 hours instead.
Yeah,
Mean Girls 2, man, that's rough. But yes. Brittany says she's going to come back to share a few thoughts. She's having some diaper drama. And so, she'll be back soon. So anybody else watch anything else?
I watched a very bad movie called Mrs. Santa Claus.
Oh.
When I was helping my mom decorate, there was the DVD pack of 10 holiday romances. And one of them was This Is Santa Claus, starring Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Santa Claus. It was a musical. It was weird.
A 10-pack of Christmas romantic movies.
Yes. I don't know if they were all Hallmark. Some of them are Hallmark.
Yeah. It was a weird mix of like Mrs. Santa Claus getting fed up with Santa ignoring her and then going off on a journey and then getting stranded in New York. But then it kind of turns into like her joining a suffragettes march and rallying children to go on strike against like poor toy factory working. It's like a weird.
I think I've seen this.
That takes quite a turn.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, they were.
Yes.
That's it.
Look at her.
That doesn't look remotely photoshopped.
The effects of their sleigh flying through the sky are very good.
Wow.
In her very ethnic, diverse place where she lands too.
On Avenue A, yeah. There's a whole song about the fact that they live on Avenue A, which they keep referencing.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Because Avenue Q was already taken.
This just gets worse. The artwork, there's so much artwork here on Google for this movie, and it all is so bad where they've just taken this little piece of Angela Lansbury's head and shoved it.
All right, I give you the rights to use my image to promote the movie, but you get one picture and that's it.
Yep, and I'm not posing for anything. You just take it off of something else. Oh, it's amazing. That's spectacular. Oh, it's the best.
There's so many bad holiday movies.
But the funny thing is that even like what looks like they should be stills from the movie are not stills from the movie. They're still that exact same head. Maybe Angela Lansbury wasn't even there for this movie.
Oh, and by the way, Santa is Charles Durning.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. He's terrible.
And he has to sing.
Ouch.
He does have one very sad song where he's missing Mrs. Claus, actually. But yeah, but it's mostly Angela Lansbury singing and trying to carry the movie.
Oh my
You get the idea they had a budget and they signed Angela Lansbury and that was the budget.
That was it.
See, I love a musical, and I feel like Disenchanted, the thing that disappointed me the most about Disenchanted was the music.
That's what I really wanted to say. Was like there was so many songs in Enchanted that are so catching that even like to this day I know them. Like I could sing every word to them. Yep. And I was like, none of this music was like, yes, I like this. I'll listen to the soundtrack.
And there's 8 times as much music.
Yes,
like
it is a musical. Too hard. I don't know.
Enchanted had a few songs that were played sometimes for comical effect or sometimes, right? You know, but Disenchanted like every 8 seconds is there.
And none of it fit. And at one point I was like, she even said she can't sing the right song. Like she makes that comment, I'm not singing the right song. And I'm like, oh man, like when this changes, the songs are going to get better because she's going to be singing the right song. Nope. And the music didn't get better. I was like holding out hope. I'm like, oh, there it is. That's why the songs have sucked. Just kidding.
You're gonna have to wait till Re-Enchanted comes back out.
Yeah. Also, I found out they didn't use the same actress who played Morgan in the first one. She was like really close. Like she was good. But that actress is 24 now, so she was too old to be playing like an angsty teenager, but she had a cameo in it.
Alan Menken did the music too.
What was that?
Alan Menken did the music.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sit me, and you might have a completely different opinion, right?
I don't know who did the lyrics, but Menken did the music.
None of it seemed like there was a lot of whimsical, wonderful songs in the first one, right? And
yeah, I got insurance too.
You know, for me,
it wasn't
happy working song, and how will he knows you love him.
Yeah.
Stand up. I put those in my regular music playlist to listen to.
Right. When I worked at summer camp, like shortly after that movie came out, and the entire like staff to camp during the talent show did like we made up our own, basically did the dance that everybody did for how do you know you love her or whatever. Like we all took a part of that and we acted all of it out, and like it was so much fun. And I'm like, I couldn't do that with any of this.
No,
it was actually the music was by Menken and Steven Schwartz for both movies. It was the same.
There was one decent song
No.
in Disenchanted, but we can talk about that after more people have seen it. I think there was one, but it's like, all right, I see this was the fun song they put in here.
See, I'm curious because I don't think there was one. So I'd like to know what your thought is.
Later. I'll text you later which one I thought it was. But yeah. But otherwise, I don't know. For me, it's
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. I it's worse than it's better than getting poked in the eye. But not
At least nobody sure for next week's movie because Adam would have probably had a heart attack.
It was a good idea. Like the plot idea was creative, and
a lot of good ideas.
Good, but I also think they tried too hard. Like they tried too hard to add like big name people. I don't know. Like I felt like some of the other people that were in it, it was like not a role that I pictured them being in. I didn't picture them being in a kids musical.
Maya Rudolph?
Like it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't fit. Yeah, Maya Rudolph being one of them.
So Adam says he rented Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. Mindless fun action. I agree with that. Not going to win any awards, but totally worth the ride.
Okay.
That's a lot of fun. He has very little interest in Avatar 2. I don't think I have a lot of interest, but I'll probably end up seeing it.
Yeah, I might
go see it if it was
sometime.
90 minutes, but I'm not going to sit through that.
Yeah, no, I'll like rent it sometime or stream it.
We watched it after we went to Disney and went to
Pandora.
Thank you. Could not remember it. And we watched it after and we were like, this is what they based that on? It was terrible. I did not like it. Avatar.
It was magical at the time. Yeah, at the time
it was like there was hype, and then I watched it and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it holds up as being spectacular.
No.
Well, it's James Cameron, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why it's like I was like, oh, it's James Cameron, and then I was like,
from Avatar.
And from what I've seen, I mean, the problem, the issue, of course, that world has such a specific look to it.
Yeah.
When they show you Avatar 2, it's like, wait, did I see this already? This looks like these flashbacks.
It's also a little weird to be making a sequel 13 years later.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I did see when I was on the plane, I saw Bullet Train, but I didn't pull that up. I pulled a different movie up. I don't even remember what it was.
Maybe the second one will rip off Waterworld. Go down the whole list of Kevin Costner movies.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, wait, I missed what was said.
Or The Postman.
He was talking about Avatar. This is Adam's comment about Avatar. Is that
Do you like The Postman? You don't?
This one wasn't.
It's not.
It wasn't bad,
terrible,
but I know it got like really terrible reviews. I didn't think it was bad.
Even Waterworld is not a terrible movie. It's a movie that had this massive budget with all this hype, and it was like it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were the I forget what you call them, where the world's all in chaos.
Dystopian future.
Yeah, these whole massive world buildings that they spend all this massive money on. You go, you could have done that with a third the budget, and it would have been just as good.
Yeah.
They want that Harry Potter money. They want that 790 million.
Yeah. They want that Hey Vern, it's Ernest money. Yeah.
That's it, right? Any franchise, just give them a franchise, they'll be happy. So the question is, Adam, would you have been happier if it was Harry Potter 4 or a musical? If you had to watch,
or a rom-com.
If you had to watch the next Harry Potter movie or Spirited, which Spirited could easily come up next month during our holiday showcase, and that's Apple TV only, right?
Yes, it is.
Apple,
and there's no other possible way to get it.
No,
Harry Potter 4.
No, you have to.
Well, you have your answer.
I think you have to go buy an iPhone in order to do that. He would have definitely gone with Harry Potter 4, the musical. No,
yes. Harry Potter on Ice. Yeah,
there you go. Oh man,
Been watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers a lot since.
Is that in honor of the fellow who died?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And where are you watching these? Or do you own?
It's on Netflix. Yep, they're on Netflix.
Isn't it like part of the first or something?
It's 3. It's. I think it's. How many seasons are there?
A lot.
There's 3 seasons. streaming right now on Netflix.
They took most of them off of Netflix when they sold to Hasbro.
There's 3 seasons on Netflix of Mighty Morphin, and then there's like the other ones that are streaming too.
The
But
Hasbro ones are on Netflix. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I was not aware that he died until I saw all of a sudden there was a bunch of stuff flooded my feed.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a sad one.
Well, they've also been in the news. This is like more like a week or two ago. The actor who played Draco was in the news. I think he had a book coming out of his battles with addiction. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen him pop up on my social media feeds every once in a while too, which he still has. He knows distinctly how he said Harry Potter in the movies, and every once in a while he'll make a Potter, very terse Potter inflection in his voice. That's like, all right, that's kind of awesome. That's all you.
That's funny.
But yeah. Well, awesome. Well, anybody else got anything else for the order? Anything else they'd like to share? All right. Well, so business, of course, next Monday night, 8:00, we will talk about, I forget already what the name
Rushmore.
Rushmore and Schitt's Creek.
Rushmore. There we go.
And Schitt's Creek.
So when people ask me later, I remember. Thanks to Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca, for your selection. We appreciate that.
You have to put up Adam's latest comment.
Yeah, I know. I like it.
Oh, there we go. Oh, this is very interesting. Now, Adam, buying is one thing. Watching is another.
Singing along is another.
So how much use has this disc gotten since it's coming to your house?
It's his second copy.
He's already burned through the first one. Wow. That's
well, awesome. The new one has an additional 12 seconds of new footage. He had to have it.
Well, hey, I would pay $15 for a video of Adam singing along to any song on this.
Only if we could rate it afterwards.
No, that's the bonus content. You know, you got to pay for that. You just got it on Saturday, and it's already stuck in.
It's already in regular rotation. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I don't think it's going to get better than that. All right. Well, so enjoy our last non-holiday movie of the year, Rushmore, and then next week we will dive into holiday films.
And Schitt's Creek next week.
And also watch Schitt's Creek.
And we are going to talk about Schitt's Creek. That's right.
I posted the episode. It's in the Facebook chat, but I don't know if everyone has.
2 episodes a season. Yep.
If you're not in the chat and you want to be in the chat, send us a message somewhere.
Yeah.
We will find you. You send us a message over.
Find you.
We'll find you.
Seems fine.
I have a very specific set of skills.
We can find you in Facebook Messenger.
So we have done 12 holiday movies up to this point.
Nice.
Right. So I'm going to go through them really quick. I'll go through them really quick. We've done Christmas Vacation, Mixed Nuts, Bad Santa, Christmas at Pee-wee's Playhouse, The Christmas Claus, Elf, Christmas Story, Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life, Love Actually, The Holiday, and Arthur Christmas. So those are the 12 holiday movies we have watched already.
Wait,
everything else.
Did I miss it? Did you say White Christmas? Did I miss that?
No,
I did not say that.
You didn't put White Christmas on this list.
We have not.
They haven't watched it yet.
Chosen it yet.
White Christmas?
Christmas Miracle or a musical movie.
Yeah.
I love White Christmas.
Well, so obviously these weeks go by quickly. We're going to start a brand new wheel, right? Everybody gets one spot on the wheel, right? And once you choose a holiday movie, you're done.
You're out.
Obviously, there'll be 6 movies.
And holiday it can be Christmas, Thanksgiving. It can be Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, all that, right?
Can't hear you.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute Brittany. Brittany's had mic issues tonight. For some reason, we seem to get noise. There we go. All right, so I'll discuss this with Dan, but I'm thinking next week will be a double feature, but we're gonna spin the wheel twice, and 2 people will pick the movies
That makes
so
sense.
that more people
That's
get a
good.
chance to choose a holiday movie for December.
That's a good idea.
It will be a double feature, but you'll only get to pick one.
Okay, so
this way
holiday-
more people get an opportunity to share in the holiday fun.
So holiday, I assume it includes Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, any of that.
Yep. I mean, if you want to pick Groundhog's Day, go for it. You might get some criticism.
Great movie.
I love Groundhog's Day.
Great movie.
But yes, ideally this season-ish
Yes.
holiday movies. But if you're like, oh, I got this great Arbor Day movie that you guys are gonna love.
You have a great winter solstice movie.
That's right, exactly. If you're like, just wait till you see this Father's Day with Billy Crystal and Robin Williams.
Can't wait till summer. We gotta get in.
Hallmark and their entire list of solstice movies. Yeah,
That's right, exactly.
A solstice romance.
I
am going to watch that.
That there is a sequel to A Christmas Story.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to even think about watching it.
Adam, are you not in the chat? Adam, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. I feel terrible. I'm gonna fix
He's not been in the messenger chat.
I guess not.
I'm just reading him in the StreamYard comments.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll fix that as soon as we're done here. I'm actually shocked if that's
Dan.
He may have been in it and said, "Oh my gosh, there's too many notifications."
Yeah.
Actually, I'm
Just
verified
rage quit
now
the group
because I
chat
kinda
and
don't believe
blocked
it.
from his memory.
Yeah. Well, look at that. Nope, he's not in there. How does that happen? I have no idea. All right. I would have swore we would have sent you an invite. All right, I'm going to do that right now. No, I lied. I'll do that later. Okay. Working right.
Such a liar.
Right. There he is. All right, perfect. All right, there. Now you're in. Now you get to hear all the noise on Facebook. And anybody else who's not in, let us know. We'll get you into the chat. We have a little film festival chat that happens. The disrespect. Oh, Adam's feeling so disrespected. I want to say I sent you an invite before. Maybe you did, Ryan. There he is.
Yay.
There he is. Apparently. There it's all right. So now Adam gets to be part of the party. Sorry about that, Adam.
There goes the neighborhood.
So all right. So absolutely. If anybody else is not in the Film Festival Facebook Messenger chat, you can go to the EriDan Film Festival group. Leave a comment somewhere in there. We'll get you added in so that you can chat with these lovely folks all week long. Share behind the scenes stories.
Yeah, post your making of documentary there.
I'm doing whatever you want to do in there. You do it. It's a free for all.
The making of EriDan.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Exactly. All right, everybody have a wonderful week. We will see you back here next Monday night, 8 p.m.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.